Oh, no bullshit, let's get straight into it. Tribbie, she gets more energy from her basic attack, the rest is just word changes. The skill, as well as a word change. The ultimate, 60 energy less, but the zone lasts for 2 turns instead of 3 turns. So you can now use DDD on Tribbie significantly easier if you don't have her signature light cone, and it helps you get more action and advance more often, right? Next we have the talent. The talent is basically the exact same, with the only addition of if the target was defeated before the follow-up attack is launched, launch a follow-up attack against enemy targets, newly entering the battlefield instead. Now, for the technique, I believe this is once again just word changes. Trace 3 received a nerf. She used to get 48 energy when a battle started. Now she only gets 30. E1 got massively buffed, so her old E2 got moved to her E1, which is while the zone lasts and after ally targets attack enemies, additionally deals true damage equal to 24% of the total damage of this attack to targets that have been dealt additional damage by the zone. And then her E2, right? So her E1, her E2 went to her E1, and her E4 went into her E2. So her E2 now is while the luminosity state is active, allies ignore 18% of the target's defense when dealing damage. So her E1, I believe, gives either true damage for only her follow-up attacks or true damage for everyone's attacks. I'm not completely sure on this E1, sorry, that is my fault. However, the E2 is straight up just 18% defense ignore for the entire party basically. You're gonna have this luminosity active like 100% of the time, especially if you have her at E2. So free 18% defense ignore party wide, and then the E1 helps give more true damage. And that's basically it for Tribbie. I think she's more free to play friendly with the lower cost energy ults now, since you can use things like DDD more often and get a lot more action advance. Now, the real meat and potatoes of the V3, the #1 Doom posted DPS in quite a while, we have Mydei. Now his basic attack, word changes, his skill, word changes, his ultimate, not word changes, actually got significantly buffed. Now Mydei gains death proof for 2 turns, which by the way was not here before, and while he's in this state, Mydei can restore 10% of his max HP each time he's attacked. Deals imaginary damage equal to 160% of Mydei's max HP to one enemy, and deals 100% of his max HP to adjacent targets. I saw some people saying that he might become AoE in the V2 word changes. However, don't worry, he's not AoE. I don't think they make a destruction AoE in the first place, right? So this really hasn't changed, only the first part's really changed. However, this has as well changed, right? Aside from the death proof and him gaining more HP each time he's attacked, he taunts the targets and targets adjacent for 2 turns. So in the old ult, as you can see here, it was only for 1 turn. In the new one, it's for 2 turns. So I'd say straight up that this is just an ult buff. His ult is significantly better, and especially against higher speed enemies, like let's say True Sting, when you're getting attacked very, very often, this increase max HP 10% each time he's attacked for 2 turns is really, really strong. I'm actually curious if you could run him going completely sustainless now, if you're able to get the ult off often enough, right? Next, we have the talent. For each 1% of the HP he loses, gains 1 point of charge up to a maximum of 200. When charge reaches 100, consume 100 points to enter the Vendetta state, and you restore HP equal to 25% of his max HP, and he gets instantly action advanced by 100% while in the Vendetta state. Max HP increases by 50% of the current max HP, and defense remains at 0. At the start of this unit's turn, automatically use Kingslayer Be King. When charge reaches 150 points while in the Vendetta state, Mydei immediately gains 1 extra turn and automatically uses Godslayer Be God. So this is a straight up buff. In the old version here, as you can see, he would have to get, he'd get 50% action advance. Yeah. So whenever he had enough charge to do Godslayer be God, he'd be action advance 50%. And a lot of people were complaining that this simply wasn't enough. Like, enemies would literally still be right in front of him even after getting max charge. So now they fixed it, and he now gets 100% action advance, completely goes to the front of the line, right? Next, we have when receiving fatal damage while in the Vendetta state, Mydei will clear his charge and exit the Vendetta state, restoring HP by 50% of his max HP. For each 100 points of Mydei's max HP beyond 6,000, the charge Mydei receives from enemy targets damage increases by 1.66%, and incoming healing increases by 0.5%, tallying up to 6,000 HP in excess. Next, we have his technique. Yeah, I believe his technique is just wording changes once again. Nothing to really look at here. His skill got a minor buff, so consumes HP by an amount equal to 35% of Mydei's current HP, and then deals imaginary damage equal to 110% versus the old 100 of his max HP to one enemy and 66% to adjacent targets. If the current HP is not sufficient, using skill reduces Mydei's current HP to 1. This ability will be automatically used. So people who were hoping that his auto battle would go away, unfortunately it seems like his auto battle is something Hoyo wants to keep on his kit no matter what. So I do think he will keep the auto battle mechanic the entirety of the time, right? Next, we actually have I believe a decent buff to his skill. However, the energy cost you get back from it is worse. If I had to guess, this is because they made the ultimate so broken and a lot better that they don't want him to constantly spam it like he was the old one. So I do think it'll be more difficult for people to actually get his ult off, even if it's better. Next, we have consumes 150 charges and deals imaginary damage to one enemy equal to 280% of Mydei's max HP. At the same time, deals imaginary damage equal to 168% of Mydei's max HP to adjacent targets. This ability will be automatically used. While the ability is in use, charge cannot be accumulated. So his Godslayer be God skill, which is the one when you get max charge while in Vendetta, is straight up just, it got a buff, okay? It got a buff. It's a lot stronger, which is nice. However, it is harder to get the ult off now, so I don't know how this will end up working. I'm sure overall he will for sure be stronger. However, maybe this will be a bit annoying, right? Next, for his Trace 1, if Mydei has Death Proof while in the Vendetta state, he will not exit the Vendetta state when receiving fatal damage. His current HP can be reduced to a minimum of 1. Next, for Trace 2, while in the Vendetta state, Mydei is immune to CC debuffs. The E1, I actually haven't seen this, so it does seem to be the exact same. They just slightly increased the ignore defense. Wait, what's this? Adds 40% of the healed amount to the tally of HP loss. 40% of the healed amount will be converted into charge based on Mydei's max HP. Okay, so I do think building Mydei on HP, like HP relics and substats, I've seen a lot of people debating whether or not like crit damage bodies or something like that could be better, but I think they've made it a lot more of a thing to go full max HP on this guy. So yeah, I think if before you could at least semi-run crit damage body and stuff like that, max HP seems to 100% be the better thing to run him on now, right? Next, we have Godslayer be God becomes imaginary damage dealt to all enemies equal to the damage multiplier applied to the primary target. So, wow, this is definitely one of the most broken E2s in the game. So his Godslayer be God, which is like the move he usually does, where he does the most damage period, sometimes even in the millions, right? He becomes AoE with it on his E2, and not only that, but every single target is hit with the primary damage multiplier. Now, if we go back up here, where is it? Yes. So Godslayer Be God, the primary damage multiplier is 280%. So he will deal imaginary damage equal to 280% of his max HP. I mean, to literally 4 or 5 mobs possibly on field. So this E2 is a massive buff from his old Eidolons. His old Eidolons, I'm gonna be completely honest, they were ass. They were equivalent to like 1.x and not even 2.x. They were equivalent to like 1.x Eidolons for DPSs. However, this is a crazy change to his Eidolons, significantly stronger than they used to be. I don't really want to go down further because I don't care about E4 or E6, right? But his E6, I mean, this is simple, right? These are really quick. I might as well go over them. When entering battle, immediately enter the Vendetta state, and the charge required for Godslayer Be God is lowered to 100 points. So you need 50 points less for Godslayer Be God, and you're instantly in the Vendetta state the moment you go into battle. And then E4, when Death Proof takes effect, additionally restores HP equal to 10% of this unit's max HP. So he gets an additional 10% max HP increase every time he gets hit with the E4. So very significant changes for Mydei. I do think overall he will 100% be stronger. I'm not going to count E1 or E2. If we were using E2 or E1 Mydei, I think there might be a chance that he's the strongest DPS in the game. However, I think he's good now. I genuinely think, just looking at this, I haven't seen any actual gameplays of him yet, but I'd assume with all these changes, the buff to the skill, the buff to the Godslayer Be God, the buff to the ultimate, everything has basically been buffed. He has better action advance, better multipliers. I do think he's significantly better now, and I honestly can't complain. Once again, I don't know how this lower energy cost is going to work out for him. It kind of sucks considering that he takes a shit ton of turns. So it goes from like, you used to be able to get like 4 turns with Sunday in a cycle, right? So a free 120 energy every time he took a move versus 40. So he's losing out on 80 energy compared to his old skill. However, this is still very... Oh wait, no, this is only Godslayer Be God. Sorry. Rookie's mistake by me here. I was confusing his Godslayer Be God with his Kingslayer Be King. You rarely ever actually like get Godslayer Be God, so this is actually completely fine. It won't make much of a difference. So do look forward to Mydei. I think he will be a very strong DPS and a significantly better pull than what he was looking at in his V2 or V1. Next, we have small changes here. We have the Planar sets. So this is actually more interesting to me personally than Tribbie and Mydei's kit changes. For other people, they probably find Tribbie and Mydei more interesting. However, me personally, I'm skipping the entirety of 3.1, so I'm more interested in Hyacine, who should probably be the next type of abundance or sustain or whatever HP support, right, to end up helping out these max HP scalers. And the changes to this Planar set have me very interested in Hyacine, right? So let me go straight into it. The wearer's speed increases by 6% when the wearer's speed is 135 or 180 or more. The wearer and their memo sprites outgoing healing increases by 12 to 20%. So this basically confirms that Hyacine, who is rumored to be in 3.3, will be a healer. However, if you remember correctly, remembrance characters are the only ones who can have memo sprites. So this means Hyacine will be remembrance and not actually abundance as a healer. So the craziest part about this is the 180 speed. How the fuck are you going to hit 180 speed on a healer. I'm not sure how you're gonna be able to reach this, but hey, I'm looking forward to it. This likely means Hyacinth will be a remembrance healer. This could possibly imply that she could be a support and a healer at the exact same time, since she's remembrance and not exactly stuck to abundance. So I'm really looking forward to this. And next we have Castrus's Planar. Nothing really changed. She only received a slight buff. Instead of it being 25% crit damage increase, it's now a 28% damage increase. And here we go. Surprise, surprise. They changed Tribbie's Lycone because it would have been a best in slot for Robin if they didn't. So, increases the wearer's crit damage by 36% at S1. Nothing's really changed here. However, the rest has changed. After the wearer launches a follow-up attack, additionally regenerates 9 energy and gains presage, lasting for 2 turns. While the wearer has presage, all ally targets crit damage increases by 48%, which is really, really nice, right? And when entering battle, the wearer regenerates 21 energy and gains presage for 2 turns. So instantly, right when you go into battle, she will gain 21 energy and your entire team will have 48% crit damage buff. So the S1 got a lot more niche made. I don't know how to explain it, right? Like it's just more niche. Robin can't take advantage of this Lycone as well as she used to, so it's more niche made for Tribbie now. Unfortunate for some people who are looking to maybe get her Lycone for Robin. Unfortunately, it's just looking slightly worse, right? And that's all I have for you guys with this video. Tribbie now has a lower ult cost. Eidolons and Lycone are still really good. The Eidolons received a significant buff. She gains more energy from the basic attack, and this once again allows her to spam DDD a lot easier. I think that's the main reason why they actually made the ult cost lower for people who don't have her signature. DDD is probably going to be the free-to-play option that you run on her. Mydei received overall buffs almost all the way across the board. Better action advance, better multipliers. Eidolons got significantly better. I don't know about his Lycone. I haven't seen if his Lycone got any changes yet. However, he should definitely be one of the strongest DPSs in the game now. And these Planar changes basically confirm Hyacinth to be a healer in 3.3, and she'll be remembrance instead of abundance. Hopefully she has support capabilities for these HP scalers at the same time. That is a little greedy from me, right? But I do think now that we have 3 HP scaling DPSs coming to the game, it makes sense to just finally, right, finally add some type of HP support that can make HP scaling DPSs significantly stronger. So that's the video. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good night. Peace.